So I kind of wanted to talk about this idea after watching Girlboss. Full disclosure, I haven't watched the whole series and I have not read her book. So maybe I have no business talking about this, but hey, we all have our opinions, right? What I have done is I've read up a little bit about her, and I don't really want this to be like a judgment or a critique or anything on her character, because I don't quite agree with some of the things that she did. To be honest, I'm not really sure how I feel about her as a person. But I don't want this to really be about Sophia. I kind of wanted to talk about this idea of, can you succeed today in the same way that Nasty Gal succeeded? And this is kind of just like as someone who sells on eBay and someone who kind of like pays attention to culture and like things that are changing and the internet in general. This is just kind of like what I've seen and kind of the vibe that the show gives off. Watching it, I had a conversation with my friend Melissa afterwards, and we both kind of had this discussion where we were talking about, are people going to come away from the show thinking that they can have the next Nasty Gal, and is that even possible today? And to be honest, I don't think it is possible. I think that what Sophia Amoruso captured in 2006 to 2008 was something like very special. It was like almost like lightning in the bottle. It was kind of pre-Shopify, pre-like online store, really. Like doing your own online thing in 2006 was so different than it is today. Like today, anyone can say, I'm going to sell things on eBay. I'm going to pick 100 things, I'm going to put them on eBay, and I'm going to make some money. You could do that. Anyone could do that. But can you really build your brand in the same way that she did and almost capture this specific time in history? And she was really doing something quite innovative for the time. I don't think we quite appreciate today, you know, in 2006, what it really meant to be like a huge vintage seller on eBay, because today, you know, vintage is everywhere. It's not hard to find. Well, I take that back. Like, good vintage is hard to find. If you're willing to put the legwork into it, it's kind of everywhere in my opinion. But, you know, the stuff she was selling, it just wasn't very widely available. Whereas today, there's, you know, probably tens of thousands of people selling online vintage clothing. Like, it's not as unique as it used to be. And not only that, it's not that she just sold nice clothes. It's that she kind of captured like this online version of like what American Apparel was doing in like the early 2000s, like that kind of grunginess, not, you know, sexy in its own way. Like American Apparel is maybe not the best analogy, because American Apparel was almost like exploitative and kind of pornographic, whereas like Sophia, I think, really captured what like this weird time between like grunge and glam and like this nostalgia kind of like for the 90s and for the 80s, but not in a way that felt dated. Like if you look at the original like Nasty Gal photos, that the models that she used for her listings, and that even of itself was different, because no one was really thinking at that time like, I have an eBay store, let me get some models and, you know, put them in clothes and act like it's a real store, like, you know, a catalog. And now that's kind of everywhere. I wouldn't say that's quite the norm on eBay, but, you know, the production value of photography has gone way up. It's not super abnormal to see people with models, although like most people, I would say, don't use models. But I think what you can take away from Girlboss in general and Sophia's story is that it is possible to start your own online business. Is it going to be as big as Nasty Gal? You know, probably not, but that doesn't mean that you can't do your own thing and kind of do it in a way that makes you happy and it just really helps you start your business. But, you know, the realities of selling on eBay, I think the show did a really good job at like capturing some of the things like online forums and drama and people disagreeing, and also like really angry customers, and how do you handle all that? And seeing that on a TV show is much different than dealing with it in real life. In that same conversation with my friend, I said, well, yeah, everyone's really into selling on eBay and really jazzed about it until they get their first angry customer, and then no one wants to do it anymore because it makes you so upset you want to quit. So, you know, and it is kind of a lot to juggle. You know, if you're selling clothes, you know, you have to think about storage. And her apartment, honestly, that's kind of what my apartment looks like. Not most days, but a lot of days. Just stuff everywhere. Just insanity. So I think in terms of like, is the show realistic? And parts of it are realistic. No, I don't think her character is very realistic in the show, but I do think the reality of being like a small seller on eBay who kind of scales up, I think that was very realistic, and just being like, oh my god, I need more space for my crap, this stuff is overtaking my life, the customers are angry. Yeah, I mean, I just think it was a very interesting take on the whole eBay world and starting your own business. I'm curious like what they'll do in the second season, and I don't want anyone to be discouraged by me saying like, can you do what she did today? Because even though I think the answer is no, that doesn't mean that it's not worth trying to do. I wouldn't necessarily go into it thinking I'm going to be the next nasty gal, because, well, they just filed bankruptcy, so I don't think you want to be the next nasty gal. But I think that in your own way, you could kind of do the same thing. I see my friends do it with their online businesses, and they're kind of doing their own thing. And the nice thing about it now is that it's not like in 2006, where there wasn't like a ton of space for businesses like hers to exist. Now there's space for everyone. You know, you could be antiques jewelry, you can be like vintage clothes, you could be like housewares from the 50s. You could do whatever you want is the point. You know, there's not a pigeonhole that you have to put yourself into. And I don't know. I think you should just go for it. I mean, I don't think you should set the expectations that, you know, you're going to be huge and everyone's going to know your name and you're going to have a book. I mean, maybe you will. Maybe I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. But I just think it's important to have realistic expectations that, like, when you go into this whole, I'm going to sell online and have my own business kind of thing, like, a lot of it really sucks. And I think that her story has shown that. Like, you know, you have people trying to tear you down. You have issues with finances, you know, maybe you're not treating your workers right. Hopefully none of these things will ever happen to you, but that's kind of what happened to Nasty Gal if you do the reading online. So maybe scaling small is a better idea. Anyway, that's just kind of my 2 cents on if it is possible today to kind of be like Nasty Gal or do like your own version of Nasty Gal. And yeah, if you guys want more tips or tricks on like eBay stuff or selling online or anything like that, just let me know, because I do sell online. I've been doing it for about 4 years and I have picked up a lot. I'm just like not really sure how interested people are in like hearing about it. So if you want to see more videos on like eBay stuff or selling online, things like that, just let me know and I'll try to put that content together. Okay, great. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.